try to leave that analysis for other people to analyze because I try not to talk about jokes. But this is really cool because I like that this is just for us and we're never gonna broadcast this out. But I've never had to talk about my special immediately after people watched it. So it's cool. It's fresh on people's mind. Analyze it. I don't know. I think I've gotten better at. I like to think I've gotten better at telling jokes. I think I've gotten. I think the complexity has increased a bit. I think I'm talking about important stuff. I don't know.
I feel like they've all been. I mean, genuinely, I've enjoyed all of your specials. I feel like this one, you were able to tackle a breadth of things in a way where the transitions were really like they were just working in a very kind of seamless way. One feedback that you've been getting, like a lot of people who wrote about your special, but then you said to me back that because people have been saying Ronny Chieng's third special is more personal than it's ever been, and you felt like you've always been personal.
Yeah, I always feel all my specials are personal. Like I'm talking about personal stories.
Yeah.
Like my first one, I think I talked about my weddings.
Yeah.
Not to mention everything else that happened in the first special, which was all personal experiences. So when people go, "This is more personal," I'm like, okay. I hope that's a good thing. But to me, I'm like, this is just what I've always been doing anyway. So I don't feel it's more personal than not. I don't know. Maybe because someone died in this one. So.
That's what it is. It is. It's because of the two things. Like it's the birth and the death.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
Totally meant for that. But
Cycle of life. Yeah, which is the name of somebody else's special. You closed your special, speaking of, by talking about your dad's passing, which had happened about 6 years prior to when you're taping it. Sorry. Dry.
Are you crying about my dad? Or
I am. It's really moving. I was wondering, did you need to get to some point of? Do I have water?
Thank you. Let me open it for you. You can't keep asking a question.
Give you the water. Yeah. Did you need to get to some point of processing that personally before you could include it in your work? I guess that's the first part of my question.
Yes, I had to. I couldn't, when it happened, it was so shocking that it took me a few years to even think about talking about it. And then I talked about it, first time I talked about it was in Singapore, actually, because I did this show in Singapore, and that's where he was, and that's where my mom was, and so it just felt right to talk about it in Singapore a bit, and then, but it grew a lot since the Singapore version of it, so yeah.
And that was what I was going to ask is how did talking about it on stage, how did it change for the sake of the show, but also has it affected at all how you've been personally continuing to grasp that?
I don't know. I don't know what. How has it changed my own?
I'll share a little bit about myself personally. Please. Just to get so my dad passed away about 9 months ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And thank you. And mine was different. It was it was not sudden. It was a 15-year illness.
Oh.
So I've had time to process it, but I haven't written about it fully yet. But the times in which I have written about it, it's been interesting because it's sort of it's a two-way street. It was sort of I had to wait until I was ready to write about it, but then writing about it unlocked more things. Sure. I don't know if that's the case for everyone.
Did it
sorry, this is such a funny Q&A.
I know,
I'm so sorry.
It's a bummer. We're fucking bummer. This is, did it unlock stuff? Probably. When I was doing it, I can tell you. This doesn't answer a question, but my mom went on tour with me a little bit, and every time I did that bit, she would cry. At the end, she would always cry at the end of the show, which is awful. Did it unlock anything?
And I don't mean
know.
in a traumatic way. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase.
I don't go for therapy, so I don't know how to do it. I'm trying to monetize my mental illness as long as I can. I actually refuse to go. Does it unlock anything? Yeah. I mean, it makes me think about him. I had to go and all that stuff I talked about actually happened, so that was awful when it was happening. Yeah, I don't know. The only way I can process this is I keep thinking what would he think about this, you know, what would he think about what happened here? And I think he'd be cool. I think he'd be like, oh, that's nice. You know, I don't think he'd be cool that he passed away, but he'd be he'd be cool that he like, oh, that's nice. That's a very nice little tribute to him.
It was. You know, the New York Times, in naming Love to Hate It as the best comedy special of 2024, they called you.
A failing New York Times.
Fake news, New York Times.
Fake news.
They called you, and hopefully this part is. They called you an inspired hater. Which I think is
that's nice.
Amazing. I would love that on my own epitaph. Did you? So because of that, though,
that
because
could be the next comedy special title, Inspired Hater. It's a great title.
It's pretty great.
Great album.
Given that, and given sort of like your comedy persona or sort of tone, did you have any then concerns about potentially going to that more like, you know, vulnerable or sincere place in your special?
No. I've always been guided by what I want to talk about. So I wanted to talk about that. I did it on stage, and it seemed there was something there. There's something there that I felt was working, and so I just kept doing it. Yeah, but no, I'm not going after review nice, you know, titles in review of the special. Yeah, I'm just trying to say what I want to say here.
For your own sake.
For my own sake.
Your bar is what you think is funny.
Yeah. I don't always get it right, by the way, but yeah, that's my bar for it. Is it's nice when people get behind it, but this is something I just want to talk about.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, because it kind of reminds me of going back to my like very complicated